We have a few people in the room. We have a lot of people on the board. So we'll go ahead and do some introductions. We'll start in the room. And this will start backwards now. We'll start with Flora and work our way around.
Okay. Well, it's wonderful to see you all here today. We do have...
Not with the report, I just introduction. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't get too carried away.
I'm Jessica Burrows. I'm with Flora.
Okay, perfect.
Emily Aether, I'm with the RCD.
Philip Seamy, Trinity OES.
Skylar Fisher, County Coordinator with the RCD.
Carol Fall, Trinity Center Volunteer Fire Department.
Crystal Hodges, Trinity County RCD.
Okay, and now we will go up onto the board. Boy, there's a lot more. The names got real small. My new glasses are not working out. So we have from the VOAD, Trinity County VOAD. I can't see who that is.
Yeah, hi Philip, it's Misha. I am the secretary for the Trinity County VOAD. I also work with United Way of Northern California.
Thank you. We've got Allie Lee.
Good afternoon. This is Allie Lee with the Humboldt Area Foundation and Wild Rivers Community Foundation. I'm also part of the VOAD there in Trinity County.
Thank you. Ben Kellogg.
Good afternoon, Ben Kellogg, Weaverville Fire Safe Council, chamber member, TASA, other things. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Cindy with Norrell.
Hi, I'm Cindy Childress with the Norrell-McWintu Nation Tribal Secretary, and then I'm also the Vice Chair of the Trinity County VOAD. Nice to see everybody.
Nice to have you with us. Thank you for joining. Kelly.
Good afternoon, everybody. Kelly Sheen, Executive Director of the Trinity County Resource Conservation District.
Perfect. Thank you for joining, Kelly. Nick with CAL FIRE. Nick, CAL FIRE, you want to introduce yourself? Okay, he might have got called away. Okay, Michael Allen.
Mike Allen, the Reading BLM.
Perfect. Thank you, Mike. Gina Moon.
Gina Moon, Willow Creek Fire Safe Council. Salyer Ambassador. Don't forget that.
Larry Glass.
Hey, Larry Glass representing SAFE and local area advisor for South Fork Mountain.
Thank you, Larry. Zell.
Giselle Nova, I'm the coordinator for the Fire Safe Council of Siskiyou County, here to observe and learn.
Thank you. Okay, so that's Fire Safe Council. Okay, where did we leave off here? Now we're going on. Jerry Cousins.
Hi, everybody. Jerry Cousins with the Trinity County Collaborative.
Thank you, Jerry. And Kenneth Baldwin.
Yeah, I'm here, Indian Creek resident and collaborative member.
Thank you. Dan Montgomery.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dan Montgomery. I'm a fire prevention officer here with the Forest Service.
Are you with Trinity or Six Rivers?
Yeah, I'm Weaverville.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And Adriana?
Maybe it's just the note taker.
Yeah, okay. Shay.
Hi, my name is Shay Callahan. I'm with Forest Health at the RCD.
Perfect, thank you. Adam.
Hi, everyone. I'm Adam Kuntz. I'm the Six Rivers Mountain River Ranger District Fuels Planner. Good to be with you.
Thank you. Okay, who else did we get? Did we get Sophia? Sophia?
Everyone, Sophia Sadie here from the Watershed Research and Training Center.
Thank you. Is that it?
We do have a mystery, Sky.
We have a mystery Skylar Fisher. Somebody went through the web, through the
Link.
link.
But I see Nick is back.
Oh, there, it's Chris.
Oh, Chris. Wonderful.
Which Chris?
Afternoon, everyone. This is Chris Cole with the NRCS here in Weaverville. I was kept looking for my name and I didn't see it. I guess that was Skylar. Sorry about that.
Excellent name.
She highly recommends it. Okay.
I made it on. I could hear you. I was just figuring out how to navigate this thing. Nick Chaponi, Cal Fire Battalion 6.
All right, perfect, Nick. Thank you. Okay. Do we have any additions or changes to today's agenda? Being none, we'll ask if there's anybody that we're going to report out starting with BLM. But if there's anybody that needs to leave early, let me know and we can bump you up to in the list of report out. Okay, seeing none of those. No discussions on our. Wow. Okay.
I just wanted
Oh,
to say,
sure.
well, I just wanted to apologize there. So I haven't really made any progress on rewriting the vegetation ordinance. So it's on my list. Get together with Skylar and Jill, but that was kind of just a follow-up on that from last month.
I have engaged county planning, but I want to also reach out to the building department because I think they've been involved in some conversation. But I have also not made a whole lot of progress on my front in the last month, so.
Okay. And we have no discussion today on grants either.
Probably only applies to me, maybe Weaverville, but the Cal Fire's rural fire department grants are due May 5th. So that's the 50-50 grant that pays for equipment for fire departments. So,
Are due May 5th.
yep.
Okay. All right, well, we'll move.
There's also a grant by Nutella. Nutella, $5,000 to rural fire departments. It's due April 30th. So yeah. When you're scrounging for grants, you find them in weird little places.
Okay.
They sponsor, they have a pancake breakfast package. Or that gives you Nutella to go on your pancake breakfast.
I wonder what's. I didn't know that.
Okay. Okay, that good? Is that all?
Yep,
For
that's
grants?
all I had.
Okay. We'll go ahead and go down to number 5 for the Fire Safe Council Coordinator update.
Okay, busy month. We've made a lot of progress on the community wildfire protection plan update. We hope to have an internal draft completed within the next week or two, and are going to start reaching out to some agency partners within the next week or two to schedule a stakeholder meeting to go over the first draft of the document before, so we can get some, I'm assuming, some feedback and revisions on that before we turn it over for public review later this summer. So very excited for that. A lot of great progress on our evacuation routes projects. We've had our countywide evacuation routes layouts finalized. So that's going to be a series of 111 maps showing evacuation routes across the county, and then also maps showing hazard risk for 5 different hazard types to evacuation routes. And then based on that, by different road segments, we ranked from low to high risk what different road segment risk was. And so we have that tabulated out. And so I had a meeting with the county's general plan team earlier this week, because one of the reasons why this project has moved into this direction is because for the safety element, there is a Senate bill that requires that counties do a certain level of hazard risk analysis to evacuation routes. And so I shared our preliminary mapping and finding and the research that we've done so far, and their team feels confident that that can be used to meet the Senate bill requirements. So thank you, everyone. Very excited to hear that. So we hope to send some of that information to them next week. Since our last meeting, we've had 2 neighborhood ambassador events, Charlie and Gina, who's online. We had our first neighborhood ambassador Heilburn event, which went great in Rush Creek. And then we had some noxious weed pulls yesterday. Thank you, Gina, in the Sawyer area. We have our Firewise Fair already coming up next weekend. Where does the time go? May 3rd from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. I don't remember if the change happened by the last meeting, but previously we're promoting it to be starting at 11 a.m. But we wanted to time it to be at the same time as the Little League game, and the Little League game was moved to be at Weaverville at 11 a.m. So we decided to bump it later in the day when Little League was in Hayfork. So now it's going to be 1 to 5. Still will be a whole lot of fun, and we were able to reach out to everyone who was tabling, and it still, I think, worked in everyone's schedule. So happy about that. Firewise communities are going great. We've been more proactive this year about getting Firewise investment reports throughout the year, so we're not scrambling as much in November when the reporting is due. So that's been great. Community chipping, Fire Safe Council has been helping with RCD and Watershed Center chipping promotion and applications intake. So that starts next week. So that's exciting. And then in the last month, we've had 4 different events the Fire Safe Council has attended. Last Friday, we attended the Junction City Fire Jills Bake Sale and the Douglas City Fire Bells Bake Sale. And then on Saturday, Emily and I went down to the Van Dusen Elementary School and hung out at the Easter egg hunt. And so we played a whole lot of fun wildfire Jenga, got a lot of really great answers from the kids, and gave out evacuation go bags. And then we were also at the Plant and Seed Exchange in Weaverville. The California Fire Safe Council notified us about 3 or so weeks ago that applications would open for the county coordinator funding. So that's very exciting. And we've been putting together an application to continue general Fire Safe Council coordination. So mostly to cover staff time for meetings, coordinating meetings like this, our neighborhood ambassador program, and other programs underneath the Fire Safe Council. So plan to get that in today. And then thank you everyone for the feedback on the federal letter that has been finalized, and I've been reaching out to the different offices of state and local representatives that were identified to figure out the best way to have the letter reach them. And I've been getting some feedback from their local field reps. And then I also wanted to share on the topic of federal funding, the Fire Safe Council, or the RCD, sought out some funding through CARCD to do small forest landowner outreach. And initially, at the beginning of the year, we were notified that we were to receive that funding, but I was recently notified yesterday that that funding has been rescinded as part of some of the federal funding rescission. So I wanted to share that information with the group, since we were kind of talking about that last month. Sorry, I kind of ended up that on a downer, but it was a really productive, it was a good month.
Real quick, when's the fireworks fair this Saturday or May 3rd?
May 3rd, yeah,
Okay,
next
May 3rd.
Saturday.
Thanks.
Good question, at the Hayfork Park.
Hayfork Park, all right.
There's another one in Trinity Center, May 10th.
Yes.
May 10th?
Okay. I have a wedding to go to that day.
Okay, any questions for Skylar on report out? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and move to project updates. And we'll go ahead and start with Mike Allen from BLM.
Oh, yes, hello, this is Mike Allen from BLM. So those who don't know me, I work out of the Reading BLM office. Trinity County is one of the 5 counties that we help manage as best we can. So just throw that out there to any newcomers. So just updates on projects. So I know you guys know Reading Indian Creek's Unit A and B. Those were contracted by Trinity RCD, you know, with the funds of the agreement through BLM. They completed the hand cut pile portion for 241 acres. So we'll be burning those hopefully next year, winter time. So, and then the rest of those units from A and B, there's 121 acres of mastication that the watershed will be completing. They gave me a scheduled start date of May 5th, I believe. So we're looking forward to hoping that happens. There might be some weather, so who knows, but so we have those on the books to get done. The Weaverville Community Protection Defense, whatever we're calling it, in the Weaverville Community Forest, year 2 was completed for 154 acres, I believe. So that's year 2 of a 4-year contract. We have 254 acres completed there, and about 100 plus scheduled for next year. And then the 4th year is a maintenance year. So they'll just be going in there and lop and scatter, piling where they need to keep it where it's at. So we still have some piles left in Little Browns Creek, about 120 acres there. The Reading Indian Creek Unit 1 has about 50. Oregon Mountain, the machine piles left over from the timber harvest, that's about 80 acres. Those are on our books as well. We just had some trouble with air quality with SMPs getting approved and the weather not cooperating. So we had a lot of west winds, and if that kind of happens in the Weaverville area, we get shut down just because we don't want to blow smoke in the town. We also have some random piles in Lewiston that we got some calls about, and we've identified them. They're just some leftover piles from previous years that we're going to go there and clean up as soon as we can. So just on some future projects that we're working on. So I'm sure you're aware of the Forest Service has that fuel break that they're looking to do from Junction City area west of the river, I believe. And they asked us to, there's a small portion of BLM there that they asked us to write compliance for so that they connect it to the river. So we are planning on doing that. And then on the east side of the river, the Helena area, I'm sure you're all aware of all those, it's pretty fire ravaged. There's all those existing dozer lines. So we are writing compliance for the portion that the Forest Service has asked, and across the river, Helena, all those existing dozer lines that they used over the years that we're going to make compliance to keep those open and maintained. And that's a future project we're working on, but it is a northern owl habitat area. So the surveys in that take an extended amount of time. So we have to get those surveys in. It takes a long while for us to get compliance to maintain those dozer lines and keep them open. But once that does happen, our plan is to maintain them, keep them open for future use. They're pretty open now if you ever seen it up there. So, but we're moving forward to that. And then a project that we're working on through the watershed, and I've been talking with Randy, we kind of play email back and forth, that they're writing compliance for the Hayfork parcels, like Hewing and surrounding BLM parcels, and that they're writing the, you know, the PIF, the DNA, and the work statement, and they'll contract that out to handle all those parcels in the Hayfork area that are BLM. So Hewing and surrounding parcels, they're going to do all the compliance and do the surveys and most of the surveys, and that those will be in compliance, maintenance and everything in there. We're hoping to get some good mastication out of it. And then what we can't masticate, hand cut and pile. So if you have any questions, let me know. I can clear it up. Or if you have later on, you can always just give me an email. Most of you have it. So let me know if you have anything.
Okay, any questions for BLM? Not seeing any. We will move on to Nick with CAL FIRE.
I have nothing really to report. We're staffing up 2 engines at Fawn Lodge, 1 at Weaverville. In the next few weeks, we should be moving to 4 engines staffed. And if things go as planned, hopefully we'll have our Hayfork engine out there in the next month. And just finishing up helping projects with the RCD and then some of that up on Browns Mountain. They've been working down in Junction City. The guys are planning, if we do get some moisture in this next week, to try to knock out a few more piles down there in Junction City. There's quite a few. But other than that, we'll probably be pausing most of our burning for a bit, except for larger projects.
Okay, any questions for CAL FIRE? Seeing none, we'll move on to Flora here in the room. Jessica?
Hi, everyone. Just one announcement. We have a news release for the Post Mountain Blue Fire Recovery Project. And from that, we have a large groups that have large property owners have come on board, and we're still looking for applicants up until April 30th. 2 important dates that came out of that were from April 11th. That was a community meeting at the Post Mountain Fire Hall, and April 18th was the deadline for the deadline to join the first round of grant funded restoration work. But we are still looking for applicants up until April 30th. And they would need to sign an MOU, which we have available on our website, as well as a contact info for Chris. So yeah, that's pretty much it from Flora. Do you have any questions?
Any questions for Flora?
Thank you.
Seeing none, yeah, you guys are doing a lot of work up there. Okay, so Air Quality Management Board, Skylar has a written report for?
Yes. So Deb was not able to attend the meeting today, but she sent in an email report, so I will read that off. She is retiring at the end of next week and is in the process of training her replacement. I will be unable to make today's meeting. Please express my appreciation to the group for all their help and efforts to work with me and the district during wildfires and prescribed fire. This group is a fine example of how a community can work together to accomplish vital projects and coordinate wildfire response. My replacement is Casey Toole, and I have added her to this email. You can reach Casey at 707-443-3093, extension 110. I am encouraging Casey to participate in these meetings. As to updates from Air Quality Land, I offer the following. The district is working with burners to take advantage of burn windows before the burn suspension, and the pre-wildfire season contact will be made with Trinity County staff and others to discuss wildfire response and messaging.
Can I go back to CAL FIRE?
Yes, you can.
So Nick, I got an email from CAL FIRE that said I needed to renew my CAL FIRE burn permit, which I've never applied for one. So I was a little confused. So did CAL FIRE send that email out to everybody who had a North Coast Air Quality Management burn permit, or, I mean, anyway, do you know what's going on?
Sorry, Carol, no questions for you. I'm moving on.
Dang.
No, will you forward that to me? Because I'm curious as well, and then maybe I can find out where it came from. It is possible that out of the Sacramento system they sent it, but like you said, if you've never applied for one online, you really shouldn't even be in the system. So forward that to me and I'll take a look at it. Should be back in my office tomorrow to see kind of where that came from.
Okay, copy.
Yeah.
Sure. I think it might be a nice gesture in the next week or less than a week from now to send just a retirement card to Debbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's been a great partner in so many things with that for us.
For a long time.
What was Debbie's last name?
Harris.
Harris.
I can send one from the Fire Safe Council.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be happy to do
That'd
that.
be great. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to Cindy with Norrell Mook.
I do not have anything to report.
Okay.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Cindy? Well, we have her on the horn there. Okay, seeing none, Chris Cole from NRCS. Did we lose Chris?
No, he's still there.
Oh, there he is.
Skylar.
Yeah. Hey, Chris Cole, are you with us?
You might have had to step away.
Yeah, we can come back to him. Okay, I guess we'll go to safe, with Larry.
Yeah, we're part of the Trinity Weed Management Cooperative, and yesterday at our meeting, we're seriously looking into getting a portable air curtain burner. I just wanted to loop everybody in this meeting in on that project because I think it would be to everyone's advantage if we have one of those in the county. This is the type we're looking at is the kind that's a trailer. And you haul it around. It's not the kind that Six Rivers has where you have to put it on a low boy to move it around. This is an actual trailer. So it's smaller and it's easier to move around. But anyways, we're seriously looking into getting that because we have to dispose of all the Scotch broom and all the rest of the stuff that we wind up pulling in our various noxious weed pull projects. So just thought everybody'd want to know about that. And maybe you can help in the project.
So Larry, would that handle kind of slash also, not?
It looks to me that it would, yes. It's not just designed for, I mean, it's not going to handle giant trees, you know, because it's not as big as the one that Six Rivers has, but it certainly is going to handle slash.
That would be great. So, is something the Fire Safe Council, I mean, should we?
Yeah, I think there was somebody at the meeting that was delegated to reach out to Skylar anyway, so I'm sure Skylar will be hearing about it.
So I did hear from our botany program manager, Allie, about putting it as a discussion item at the next meeting.
Okay.
My preliminary understanding is there might be some funding already identified, but figuring out if there are other agencies that can partner into purchasing the air curtain burner. So I can put that on our discussions for the next meeting for sure.
Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
Okay, any questions for Larry, other than, Carol? Okay, we'll move on down to Psych, Trinity Center Fire.
Oh, okay, so I want to thank the RCD for burning all the piles behind the knolls. So that was, I think, a good cooperative kind of project. So the fire department had about 3,000 feet of hose line out to protect the homes because the burn piles were on SPI land, but they're immediately adjacent to a series of homes. So we were able to have active water. You know, the RCD crews were burning the piles. We were spraying down any little hot spots or starts. And so we managed to get all those done and alleviate a lot of the neighbors' concerns about burn piles in their backyard. And so the neighbors have been pretty complimentary that thank you very much that it's done and they don't have to worry about those piles sitting there anymore all summer. So, and then I have some questions when the RCD report comes up. Let's see, the other thing I just wanted to let you know is, so Trinity Center Volunteer Fire Department is working with Velocity to upgrade their communication pole at Norwegian. So that is the communication center just south of Trinity Center. Right now, Velocity has their internet connection, and the fire department has our repeater on what is just a telephone pole. This summer, we are actively working to replace that with a 60-foot lattice metal tower that would allow us to have their internet, the fire department repeater. PUD wants to add a repeater. We would add the Alert California wildfire detection cameras. And when Velocity gets their low power FM stations up, that would be our FM station, which would tie in with the sirens as far as providing information in an emergency. So right now, there's not enough room on just this little telephone pole for all those communication kind of, things. So our goal is to get that in this summer and have that communication facility up for, future, whatever, if the county needed to add sheriff net and all that kind of stuff, that would be there.
So right now, we don't have, sheriff didn't have any,
I think there's a limited sheriff net. They've been turning it off in the winter or something like that.
okay, there was some topic that came up today about 2 different locations. They said one was at Trinity Center at the lake. And then one, and I guess the other one would be Norwegian. So they were talking about 2 repeater sites, or just 2 sites up in that area. But Norwegian's the only, don't you have, you had a second?
There's Carville.
Carville, that was the
There's
other one.
Norwegian.
The way they have it listed, they just had it at Trinity Lake.
Oh.
So I think that they didn't have the description down well for what the mountain, okay, so yeah, so Carville.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, is that it?
Yep.
Any questions for Carol?
Want to mention how we proceeded with the alert camera.
I think, yeah, last meeting we're still, I think Jerry gave an update last meeting. So the Alert California wildfire detection cameras have said they would install a camera as soon as we have a location, which is why we're trying to put the tower in. They would pay for the installation and they would pay for the annual operating costs. So, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And then, but we have to work with the Forest Service on getting the second site, which is Bonanza King. So, but Velocity, since it's a private site, it's on SPI ground, they have the lease. We can put that one in right away as soon as we have the facility.
Yeah, Carol, is PUD a partner in getting that tower up?
I talked to PUD about it and they pretty much said if there's something they can do, they're willing to do it, but they're pretty much like, well, we can go help you cut trees, we can help you haul sacks of concrete up, provide a couple bodies. But other than that, they didn't seem like they had a lot that they thought they
said
could
provide a
contribute.
bucket truck if we needed a bucket, but Velocity has.
Yeah, they offered their bucket truck, but Velocity already has a bucket truck.
Well, hauling sacks of concrete's a good step forward.
Tell me about it. Because otherwise it's all us old farts trying to haul them in there. And I did forget the biggest thing, which is our Firewise Fair is May 10th. So we have a bunch of, I think there's 13 different kinds of information booths signed up. We have all the kids' water games. KOA is sponsoring a free hot dog lunch. We're not doing the siren test, but we do have Captain Cal coming from Cal Fire, I think. Last we heard. Which is cool. That's their mountain lion mascot, which everybody's kind of looking forward to seeing Captain Cal.
You need a picture with him. Yeah. Captain Cal with Trinity Fire Safe. That'd be great.
Okay.
Okay, any questions for Carol? Seeing none, we will move down to the collaborative. And I guess we can start with Larry. Do you want to start?
I wasn't at the last field trip. Jerry will have to fill you in on that one.
Okay,
I can do that. First, I want to do a follow-up. I think I reported at the last meeting that the collaborative wrote a document describing some strategies for landscape management of forest lands. And that was to go to the Board of Supervisors. And last time I talked with Kelly, it was a bit delayed. Kelly, what's the status of presenting that to the board?
I haven't been able to connect with the board chair, Liam Gogan, yet to have that on the agenda. So we've been missing each other. So I will redouble my efforts and try and make sure that that gets done shortly.
Great, thanks. So
The next
last
meeting,
Friday, sorry?
the next meeting is on the next meeting is actually on May 6th, so I'm hoping to meet with him early next week.
That'd be great. Thanks. As Larry referred to, there was a field trip last Friday with BLM up on Jennings Ridge outside of Lewiston. Kelly was there. Kenneth was there. I think, was there anyone else? No, it was a good field trip. It was primarily looking at a project, a couple of projects up there, and it was nice because they brought the collaborative to the conversation early on and kind of introduced the units and said, here's what we're thinking of doing, what's your take on it? And we visited a pretty thick and rich oak woodland that they're going to treat and clean up, pre-commercial thinning site that needs a lot of work. And then I guess it was a more timber-based site that they were going to be harvesting. So it felt like it was a very positive conversation. Rick Lutweiler was also there for an hour or two in the morning, so that was good to have his eyeballs on it. And we did kind of ground test the document of forest management strategies there, and everybody seemed to be in agreement that what they're doing is connected to what the collaboratives were suggesting that to be done. Is there anything else from that field trip? Kenneth or Kelly? No?
Yeah, this is Kenneth. I thought it was interesting. We were told that they're probably going to do this project in 3 different years just because of their lack of personnel. And I asked, well, can you contract some of this layout work? And they said, well, yeah, normally, but their money has been frozen for contracting, and BLM's money, probably Forest Service same, and they've also have a limited personnel. And so our federal administration wants to reduce wildfires, but they're not providing the funding to do that.
So, the craziness of wants and support continues.
Just to follow up on
fewer dollars.
Yeah. To follow up on Kenneth's comment, we did hear back earlier this week that there's a strong possibility that the original notice of funding opportunity that was going to basically be a financial component for our upcoming stewardship agreement, which was to not only encompass the Weaverville Community Forest, but also all the at least the northern acres of BLM lands in Trinity County, may be coming up. So we got some positive, hope that 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 may be happening within the next few weeks, which if that's the case, then we would hopefully at that point be able to get funding that would allow us to continue to assist the BLM in their forestry tasks, such as unit delineation and marking and things of that nature, as we did with the Organ Mountain timber sale. So I felt like that was at least some level of positive movement that may allow us to, increase their capacity by providing those forestry services as we have done with the community forest.
That is really good news. I hate to be too jaded, but today it's good news and tomorrow it goes away again. But fingers crossed. So I think that's everything from the collaborative end.
Okay, any questions for the collaborative? Seeing none, oh yes, okay, well, our readytrinity.org is moving along really well. It came out, the flyer came out within the Living with Wildfire in the newspaper yesterday. We've got it ready where people can already start to sign up for the alerts. We don't have our zones. We're trying to get our zones loaded in there. Right now, we're working with Motorola and Rave to get our zones into our system. So when we put alerts out, so right now, until that's up and running, we're still using the code red if we had an alert that needed to go out. And then for the zone management, Genesis will be taking over the zone management. So where when people are trying to determine where their zone is, they can just type in their address in the Genesis site and it'll pop up with their zone numbers. And what's going to be nice about that is that incoming incident management teams will already have access to our zones and people can look up the status of our zones. So we're working with Genesis on that right now. We have a tentative meeting for next week to go over the process of getting those zones over to them. And we will have, I know we'll have community health workers at the Firewise Fair and Hayfork. I'm not sure if public health has reached out to you.
They did, but they said they were duplicating what Shauna was gonna do.
Okay.
So they were not gonna do ours.
Okay, so Northern Valley Catholic Social Services will do that, but we'll be putting out information on the Ready Trinity. We're looking at lots of different forms of promotion on that. We're having a banner printed that's going to go across the highway there downtown. We have signage that's going to go on the back of a couple of the Trinity Transit buses. I think they're looking at some radio spots out of Reading and kind of HHS is that we've got a huge staff of this this transition, putting all kinds of things together. So we probably have about 12 people working on this project right now. Closing out a couple of grants, emergency management and homeland security grant for, let's see, I think Homeland Security 21 and 22 and 23 on the emergency management grants. I think I reported last month several generator projects that are close that we're putting into place for backup power. Other than that, that's about all I've got to report out, unless there's any questions. Seeing none, we will move down to our CD, and whoever wants to start.
I can start. Can people hear me?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So our crews have been busy at work. They're working in JC Park, and they also help with the Trinity Knowles burn, which I thought went really well, and we're really happy and grateful for Dwight's help. And Gracie did a great job leading the burn. So that was great. What else did we do? Forestry crew is working on the TMF for the McConnell project and flagging private properties for that. We still have no updates from FEMA on whether the phase 2 of that will be approved, and have not heard why the delay. We were supposed to be approved last year, so I'm not sure why the delay is happening. Some other things that we're working on, just finished closing out wildfire prevention and forest health grant through CAL FIRE. That went well, and we did a field tour for those units as well. And then the crews will also start community chipping downriver next week. So that's great. So get your signups in before the end of day on Friday, and we can get your property chipped for the Sawyer and Hawkins Bar, Burt Ranch, and Cedar Flat areas. Then we are working on planning for Hobel Dump and some downriver implementation as well. If anyone has any questions.
So you're planning Hobel Dump. When do you think you might be implementing the fuel reduction?
I'm not quite sure yet. So we just got the planning funding for that. We still have to do the environmental compliance before we can get the implementation portion funded. So we're working with Dylan, our environmental compliance department, on that.
And the funding for implementation, where is that coming from?
That will be coming from the SCC grant. So we've applied. We've put in a budget and narrative for that, but we need the environmental compliance document in order to get it passed through the approval of all the RCD directors.
And the acronym for the funding, what is the FCC? What's that?
SCC, State Coastal Conservancy.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah.
Carol, that's the North Coast RCD block grant.
Okay. That's what I was thinking, and so SCC threw me off.
Oh, sorry.
That's just what we refer to it as.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. I'm very trainable. Not really, but I try. Okay.
Great. Anybody else on that wants to go for RCD right now?
I can go. The roads department went to go take a look at a project that was highlighted in the CWPP. There's a hole in the road just south of High and Palm that is getting large enough that it is starting to be something that could block engines from getting by. We went and looked at it, and it is a mess. Luckily, my program manager, Cynthia Tarwater, is applying for funding in that area, potentially for 2026 through Caltrans. They have a sediment reduction program, and fixing a hole in a road like that falls under that and benefits the CWPP both at the same time. Beyond that, as the weather dries up and we get to go into our proper road season, we have been cutting open the Wild Mad Road. And as far as right now, we have most of our funding on the Shasta Trinity side. So we've cut it open to Cedar Gap area, which is about, I think, 25 miles deep on that road. But have not touched the Six Rivers side of it. Besides that, we've also done some other major roads over on that side, such as the Bramlett Road we cut open, and then partially the 28 and 10 road, which is off of the Wild Mad Road and goes all the way to Stewart's Gap. As we bring in our contractors, which we should be doing within the next week and a half, the cuts that we did to get vehicles through will be opened up further as our contractors come in and just push everything off with excavators and all. So that's it for roads.
Great. Thanks, Shay. Thank you, Arvel. Is there anybody else that wants to go before I make a couple of updates? Emily, Crystal, go for it.
Yeah, in GIS, we've still been working on the evacuation hazards map that Skylar was talking about earlier, and we're almost at the finish line with that. Just getting one more evacuation route that goes out of South Pine Palm area and goes into Humboldt County and pops out at Berry Summit. So once that's added completely, it'll all be done.
Wow.
Woohoo! Yay! At least my part, the GIS part's done.
Great. Thanks, Crystal.
Mhm.
Just for the record, I'll add that, as I mentioned before, we're working towards a sort of expanded version of our stewardship agreement with the BLM, and are excited to be taking on a little bit more responsibility, as that's going to be an expansion from just the community forest to all the, we think it's pretty much all the lands within BLM lands within Trinity County, although there's some that's down in the southernmost portion of the county that may be in a different district that may not be included in that, but it'll be an expansion of something like 3,300 acres now to approximately, I would guess, more like 60,000 acres of BLM lands within the county. So that's exciting. We're just trying to get the financial end of that nailed down. There may be at that field tour, I was able to talk with Jennifer Mata and Alden Neal a little bit about that. And they were kind of expecting that because of the nature of the pause and sort of how we've been sort of redirected over the past few months, that we may have a gap because the current stewardship agreement ends on August 31st of this year. And there may be some gap between that date and when we actually get our next 10-year agreement put in place. But I wanted to draw attention to the fact that with this particular passing year, we're at the 20-year mark for the Weaverville Community Forest, which is a pretty excellent milestone. And looking forward to the next 10 years working with the BLM. On the Forest Service side of things, I had a meeting with Ben Sundahl at the beginning part of this month. And with the increased focus on timber production, we will be pivoting from our Trinity Alps Access partner-led NEPA to the Weaverville Fuel Break project. So we had staff that met with Tim Ritchie earlier this week, and I think I've identified some areas within the community forest that we'll be able to focus that particular effort on. It's meant to be a 3,000 acre CE with a timber component. All of the partner-led NEPAs that Tara Jones have been proposing over the past few years have a timber component, but they wanted to make sure to hit that mark because their direction at this point is an increase of 25% over the next 4 to 5 years for timber production within national forest lands within the Shasta Trinity National Forest, and I presume that would extend to Six Rivers and other adjacent regional forests as well. But I just wanted to let this group know that we would be having a more increased focus on that particular project over this coming year because of the nature of the limited access for the Upper Trinity project, the Trinity Alps Access project. We will probably be moving forward with some of our surveys and things in anticipation for that project being sort of our next hit after Weaverville Fuel Breaks, going into 2026. But we wanted to be sure to be sort of ahead of the curve on that when we get to that point. But the Weaverville Community Forest or the Weaverville Fuel Breaks, they're not wanting to confuse it with their phase 1 and phase 2 NEPAs. So they've dubbed it Weaverville Fuel Breaks. But that will be our focus for partner-led NEPA moving forward this year. And that'll be the end of my report.
Okay, any questions for RCD? Oh, yeah, Carol?
So Kelly, this might be, I forgot to ask, so this might be you or Shay, but do you know what exactly I'm still having trouble figuring out what's going on at the KOA up in Trinity Center. Are you guys up there working or what?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and answer that. We were apparently tasked with doing cleanup after the operations that happened in and around the. It was part of the Trinity Camps project, and there was some timber that was removed, commercial timber that was removed around the airport, and a lot of that spilled into the KOA campground. My understanding was that they also sent up as sort of a Sawyer training thing. They took down a whole bunch of hazard trees in and around that campground. And honestly, I'm not particularly pleased with the concept that we're using our resources to clean up what should have been the timber operator's specific task in so I will go on record as saying I'm not particularly happy about the whole situation, but they have sort of basically handed that off. So our crews have been up there this week, and I understand they'll be up there for another couple weeks in an effort to try to get the KOA campground cleaned up before the season, the camping season really kind of kicks in for Memorial Day weekend. But that's about what I know about it. Our crews are using their track chipper for doing some of that work. Unfortunately, because it's a timber operation, the piles are very dirty, should have been burned, are not being burned for whatever reason. I have quite a number of particular issues with this and intend to actually have a conversation myself with Todd Hamilton at the NRA and probably Cody Carter at the Shasta T, since it seems to be being handed off to the TRMU as part of the NRA handoff to the Shasta to the TRMU. So that's about what I know about it.
So I got a question. So is that the same logging contractor that's doing all of the camps?
Yeah, that's the same logging. So that Dara, they also have the contract to do Hayward Flat. So just that's a point to remember.
I was told that because there was not a strong financial component for the removal of the timber in that particular area, that's why they didn't like force them to do more work in there, which if they're doing the entirety of the Trinity Camps project, that doesn't really square up with me. But
no, because I was out there watching them. I mean, they hauled, I mean, there were dozens of logging trucks. I mean, the amount of timber they took out there, if they're saying that wasn't financially viable, it's way more than they're going to get from a campground.
Like I said, I'm poised to have a conversation with
Yeah, that would be great.
Todd and with Cody.
Collaborate.
Larry, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to take this opportunity to ask you to please put this on the next collaborative agenda. Some of us sort of knew this was coming, and we were promised at the time that we would be able to review these after they were completed. So I'd like to get that review on the schedule.
I think they were focused on the fact that that conversation was, revolving around Hayward Flat and that particular campground versus what, was supposed to have been, I think, just the area immediately around Trinity Center Airport, which ended up spilling over into KOA. But yes, I entirely agree, Larry. I will make sure to do that.
Thank you.
Kenneth, I see your hand up.
Yeah. Who is paying the RCD for this? How are you getting paid for?
That's the part that really kind of is the sticky wicket for me, but it's basically it's part of our CAL FIRE Forest Health grant.
Oh, that's terrible. It should be Forest Service money.
Yep.
Forest Service property and it's their contractor, their timber harvest contractor.
I 100% agree. So I'm like I said, I'm not particularly pleased by that whole turn of events, but I'm going to be making an effort to try and get some of this stuff turned around, and to make it clear that we're not going to be doing cleanup work after post-logging operations like this in the future.
Great, thank you.
And thank you all for your support. I appreciate that. Any other questions for the RCD? Great. I'm going to hand it back over to.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kelly. All right. We'll move on down to Shasta Trinity Forest Service. Dan?
Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry about the mess up there in Trinity Center. I'm not aware of any of that. I come from the fire side of things. So I'll talk about that. I'm a forest prevention officer, and it's that time of year where we're starting to roll out information to the public and local businesses about being fire safe. So this year we are distributing a tire pressure gauge keychain along with a little pamphlet that talks about preventing wildfires that are started by vehicles. So we talk about how to drive and park, towing with tow chains, keeping your chains from touching the pavement, making sparks, checking your tire pressure, carrying fire extinguishers, and maintaining your brakes and the overall health of your car to avoid fires. So that's kind of the prevention message that we're putting out this year. Keep it short and brief. We are today actually doing a broadcast control burn north and west of Weaverville. I don't know if you guys have seen that. It's called a Moon Lee burn. It's about 50 acres of broadcast burn. And I haven't seen it in a while, but watching them do the test fire and begin the ignitions, it was going fairly well. It's kind of in brush and grass. And as you all know, it's been kind of a moist spring, so everything's kind of green. We're hoping for a good result from that, but we'll see how it goes in the next few hours. And that's about it from the fire side, the fire world of the Forest Service. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions for Dan?
I actually had a question on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm pretty close to that burn actually, and I had my wife actually run the daycare up here, and due to the proximity of the house, we were getting some calls from some nervous people. Any idea when control burns are gonna stop for the year?
Well, this is a particular window with this weather event coming in. So as far as broadcast burns, I would say this is the last one we're going to do on this side. I can't speak to the east side of the forest, but yeah, summer's quickly approaching, and we're shifting gears from doing burning to getting into doing suppression. So I would say this is one of the last ones you'll see this year.
It looks really good, but yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Carol, I had a question.
So Dan, you may not know anything about this. I had emailed Tara and Sarah about the Trinity Center Firewise Fair. Normally, Forest Service just sends us maps of their current projects, and they kind of have a pretty passive booth. And I was wondering this year if you guys wanted to send anybody up. Do you know if anybody from the Forest Service has gotten drafted to come up and be at our Firewise Fair? Would you like?
Yeah, I am aware of that fair, and we are slated to come up there. We haven't quite put together what that's going to look like, but it'll have a booth and smoky swag and the prevention message that we're spreading out. So yeah, we're hoping to be an active participant in that this year.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Because before it's always been just kind of nobody to talk to at the Forest Service. So having somebody where people can, kind of, chat with you guys is awesome. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, you come up and say hi. It'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Go ahead.
What, would you know what the status is of the North Lake Fuel Project?
The Highway 3, the
Highway 3.
North Trinity County's Community Risk Reduction Project.
I am not aware of that project. I'm only informed of the fuels side of things when it comes to fruition and fires on the ground. So I'm sorry, I can't answer to that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, we'll move down to Six Rivers National Forest. Adam?
Hey again, everyone. If it's okay, I'm gonna try to share a map. It might be a little bit easier to, oh, maybe I can't do that. That's all right.
Be able to now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let me try that. If you're like me and, prefer seeing things spatially, then this might make it a little bit easier. So for this spring, on Mad River, we are going to be primarily focused on
Wait,
two
but
areas.
you're not sharing yet.
I'm not. I thought it was. Sorry about that. Let me try that again. Oh, there's an extra share button. It's not like Teams. Okay. All right. Is it up now?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So this spring, we're going to be initiating two projects, or I guess these would be re-entry maintenance projects for two of our fuel breaks on the district. The first one is Mad Ridge Fuel Break, which is just runs down the center of our district and kind of bisects it along Mad Ridge in between the Van Dusen and Mad River. And it extends up here from just north of the district office and the work center all the way down to the south end of the district. And so this year, WRTC was able to get a lot of work done in the Mad River Rock area and Devil's Backbone, heading down to Shaw Valley. So we have about 250 acres, give or take, of piles that will be burning in this section just north of or on either side of Devil's Backbone on Mad River Ridge. So we're going to be looking at getting to those piles hopefully this fall, this winter. Our last count was about 150 to 200 piles in that 250 acres. Lots of great work from WRTC. We had Southern Trinity Volunteer Fire Department had a hazard tree abatement agreement with us, and so they went up and did a bunch of snagging and hand piling for us. So we're going to be looking at knocking this area out as we can coming up into this fall and winter, and then moving down on Mad Ridge Fuel Break, these green areas, if you can see them. So everything from Shaw Valley south down to almost the Ruth Airport area. This is where WRTC is going to be doing some maintenance and reentry for us. We've had a lot of road issues just with the extremely wet winter that we had. So we do have a lot of road issues that we're trying to work through. But once we get to a good spot, WRTC is going to be focusing on these two areas for us. Lots of hazard tree abatement, lots of masticating and lop and scat, and then setting those units up either for hand piling or potentially some jackpot burning, but more than likely it'll just be pile burning for now. The other area that we're going to get WRTC into is what we call the First 48, which is over here on the west slope of South Fork Mountain, right above the Ruth community area. And so this blob right down here along the 2S 4702 and 54. These are, we're going to be getting back into these. This is one of our shaded fuel break and some commercial treatment, but it's primarily focused on shaded fuel breaks. We're going to be getting back in there This area did pretty well actually under the August. So getting back into these roads to try to beef them up a little bit more and get some reentry for some fuel treatment along the roads, and then some of these interior stands where we can. That's where WRTC is going to be doing a lot of work, and then we'll be getting into some pile burning as well as the air curtain burner as that comes, getting into the fall and then the winter. And then moving on to 26, we'll bump WRTC just north into the same area, which does connect up to the South Fork Mountain project, which we're still working through. I don't have any major updates on timelines for this, but the idea being that we'll be able to connect First 48 into the South Fork Mountain shaded fuel break in between Six Rivers and Shasta Trinity. So those are the main projects we're going to be working on. We do have, for the fall, we have some pile burn areas, particularly the Lassics are where we're going to be trying to get back up into. We got about 15 acres burned of pile units this year before weather, snow shut us down, and now road conditions. So we'll be getting back up into there into the winter and trying to knock out some of these pile units from the August complex. As well as finally, in November, we would like to move up to what we're calling the D70. This will be a jackpot understory burn for 70 acres across 5 units. Just south of Highway 36, up on Mad Ridge, and you can see where it overlaps with the Mad Ridge fuel break footprint. So we're gonna go in and try to get the right fuel conditions as the summer winds down and we start to get into that winter weather. And we just weren't able to get it this spring due to northern spotted owl LOPs. So we're gonna bump that back till November, and then. That's about all we have for Six Rivers, or for at least for Mad River right now. And I will take any questions if anybody has any.
Yeah, Adam, this is Arvel with the roads department at the RCD. I heard you mention that there are some road related issues along that ridge west of Mad River. I think we still have some funding for the Six Rivers side. I don't know how much off the top of my head, but I do know that also for 2026, my boss is going after a grant that would be sediment reduction for the Eel River, which should be covered by anything west of that ridge. So if I could maybe connect to you, we could, if there's anything that you find out there that you can report to us, I can always forward that on to her. And when we do go down to Ruth area again, we'll already have an idea of where to look for work.
Yes, absolutely. No, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. And how about this? I'm going to drop my email in the chat just so you have it.
I'll write it down. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for looking out for us.
Okay, any other questions for Adam? Okay, we'll move on to Willow Creek Fire Safe Council with Gina.
Let me get it together here. Can you see me, hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, cool. I want to thank everybody for being there here. I missed last month and I regret because there's always so much good stuff to learn and hear about. The Willow Creek Fire Safe Council coming out of winter, maintaining, keeping busy. We pulled off our March dinner. It did pretty well considering the weather was snowing. And but since then, we've planned out some things. We've done a lot of Scotch broom removal out of the Kim2 area. The beach there in Willow Creek, it's residential. We're mostly pulling off on the private lands. And U.S. Forest Service came out right beside us and did some work in their area. And it's making a difference. It's looking pretty good. We're going back tomorrow. Meeting down there 10 to 1, rain or shine. And so Scotch broom is obviously yellow flowered everywhere, and I'm learning more about it. Yesterday, I want to thank Miles for coming down, and we put in some time here on South Fork, and it was weird because we had like one plant way down in the bluffs, and there was another one, so we had to like find them all. Then all of a sudden, because they're yellow flowering, it's like, hey, there's more. So we did good. Definitely want to thank Miles and the Trinity County Fire Safe Council for having him come down with us. We attended a plant and seed exchange here in Willow Creek on April 12th. The theme was Firewise Landscaping. We tabled up next to the Master Gardeners, so it was a really good little compliment group of information. I learned some things also. Looking forward to tabling on May 1st to do with CWPP stuff. I'm not sure what all the topics will be, but just communicate with the people who pass through cellular, little cellular stores happening, especially at 3 o'clock. It's hazardous on the highway even. So, but our big thing coming up, we're not doing a Firewise fair this year. So we're going to make up for it with a Firewise Move Fire Lines. It's on YouTube. And we will have a guest speaker there with us that night. I think it's from 6 to 9, a dinner. Our guest speaker is Yana Kolka. I don't know how to say her name right. Yana Jovokovic. Doesn't even help me out there. Anyway, yeah. And so that should, Thank you. Yeah. So between the short film Fire Lines and Yana and some dinner, it's going to be fun. So you look on our Facebook page, our website. We'll have that much information. Or if you have any questions about that, so that is coming up soon. May, we're almost already into May. But another thing with our CWDG activities, we got the green light to go ahead and start doing some work. Our coordinator, Olivia Lopes, has been busy loose ends and getting ready for upcoming shaded fuel breaks and Kimchi Ridge, and then over on Brannon. We've got a few other grants applications out. We're waiting for some different work along Brannon Mountain, and just kind of like, trying to maintain, keep up, and appreciate all the information that comes out of the Trinity County. As you know, we got the Humboldt and Trinity counties, so it's kind of complex sometimes. I did have one other thought and question. I like the information, Philip, that you had about the Trinity Ready, or however that's said. So whenever that comes about, we want to make sure we share that. But my question is, there was conversation about the air curtain burner. I'd like to get on that list for Willow Creek. Sometime after June, preferably after school's out, since we still have to probably find a location, but if it ends up at Mercer Fraser, it's pretty close to the school. We don't want that smoke to drift. So anytime after June, if there is a waiting list, if I kind of missed everything that was said, if it's available or just what, but there was rumor that Six Rivers, maybe Lower Trinity in specific, invested in one through a PG&E grant, and I've never heard anything about that yet. So it's just an alternate source. Oh, we did a chipper day. It was pretty productive. Going to try to stay up on that. But just helping the community reduce their fuel load, that air curtain burner was popular. And I think that's it, unless there's any questions. Oh, I see Larry Glass.
Yeah, I just, that is the Weeds Committee that's trying to get a portable air curtain burner for use, around Trinity County. As far as what you were saying about using an air curtain burner, the beauty of it is you don't have to worry about smoke coming from them. The way that they operate, they don't put out smoke. So that's one of their beauties. But they're Six Rivers, Mad River District has an air curtain burner. I don't know about the Lower Trinity.
Okay. Yeah, and thank you. I'll look into it more and see if they, that was just a rumor a couple of years ago that they had a PG&E grant specifically to buy, and it was going to be shared between Orleans and Lower Trinity, so it didn't have to travel too far. But that stretch on 96 isn't worth transporting that thing. So, yeah, there really isn't any smoke, like you say. Maybe it was just smell. I forgot. There was some kind of a comment once because it is pretty close to the Trinity Valley Elementary.
Okay, any other questions for Gina?
Thank you.
Thank you, Gina. Okay, WRTC, Sophia?
Everybody, I just have a brief update. Thanks to Adam and BLM for giving kind of updates on kind of the fuels crew is going to be up to throughout the summer. Most immediately, our crews are working on opening roads for wildlife crews, forestry, botany folks to be able to get in and access areas, starting surveys and such. So those guys are going. Our early season work includes the chipping, which we're really excited about. So we'll be in southern Trinity County on Thursdays in May, starting May 1st, around Hayfork. We are going to be doing a demonstration project up on East Fork off of Wildwood Road with some private landowners up there, kind of as to drum up support for getting that fuel reduction done, which is exciting. And more kind of private landowner outreach we have is happening in Hayfork. We sent out letters to the community and had one of our operations foresters at the town hall with Liam Gogan last night. I haven't heard how that went, but hoping the turnout was good and he was able to answer any questions that private landowners might have about opportunities to get fuel reduction done through some of our projects. And lastly, we did get an NCRP technical assistance grant for doing survey support down in Ruth. So that'll tie into that first 48 that Adam was outlining. It'll tie into the private landowners that were adjacent to the road there. So we're hoping to get a really good swath of that surveyed and CEQA ready for future projects. And that's all I have for now. Does anyone have any questions?
Kenneth, go ahead.
Do you know if the Pelletreau Ridge Road has been?
Oh, you muted yourself, Kenneth, if that was by accident.
Do you know if the Pelletreau Ridge Road has been?
Oh no. So close. Pelletreau Ridge, I don't know if it's open. I think it's pretty beat up out there. My understanding is that we're having to adjust our expectations. We were planning on being out there doing that Forest Service stretch on Pelletreau Ridge, and with the road being closed at the moment or inaccessible and having the logistics of having to loop all the way around, that's kind of off the plate for this implementation season, is my current understanding of where the fuels crew is at.
Hey, Pat?
So is Kenneth still talking?
No, he's good.
So Sophia, you may not know the answer to this, but what's the status of the Bowerman Ridge NEPA?
Same as it's ever been. I think it's right there. I promise this time. I think it's really close. That's kind of what I continue to hear, is that it's right there.
Okay,
Deja vu all over again.
like Half-Life. You never done.
Okay, anything else for Sophia? Okay, we're gonna jump back up to Chris Cole with NRCS. We missed him earlier today.
Hello, afternoon. We've got 7 contracts that were funded in the county for around $350,000 total, which is good news. I don't know if the IRA funding doesn't unlock, if we'll be able to get that many contracts funded in the future, but decent this year, and we still mostly we're funding those with this is our last year of our Joint Chiefs funding. That's a partnership with us and the Forest Service, as well as other partners, get some of those funds. That's kind of the main update. We got seven new contracts in the county, all pretty much all forestry except for one of them, which is a beaver dam analog project that'll be interesting. And then they're pretty dispersed. There's some stuff in the North Lake, South County, and then out in Junction City. So those are all funded, and then we just gotta kind of finish up the administrative side. And I guess that's it. And then nothing else really pressing for us. Our IRA agreement with the RCD has opened up very recently as of today, which is good news because we really appreciate the help with the RCD, and that funding is now available. I did hear today that, and I guess take this with a grain of salt because this is purely our agency, but under the USDA umbrella, but our other IRA agreements in just the state as well as the nation, the reason some of them are on pause is the ones that have opened up as of now were purely because of they were just IRA funded, and everything that hasn't opened up, they're interpreting the other executive orders that have come out to make sure they're in alignment with some of the other ones that are a little stickier, I think, to look through and figure out. So that's why some of the other agreements haven't opened up. I think that's it for me, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Chris? Okay, seeing none, that continues our list. We'll go ahead and run through a few other. Ally, do you have anything you'd like to report out for us?
Yeah, I'm working with the Hayfork Fire Chief, Leroy Washerer, in trying to consolidate all the fire response organizations' information to see if we could see any patterns and have them break out their equipment lists, the year of their equipment, and their highest needs, and see if we can't look at a way to leverage larger pots of funding that we don't have, but we might be able to work with the Fire Chiefs Association to access funding. So that's something we're looking into with the North Coast Resource Conservation District. So North Coast NRS, North Coast Resource Services. Got my acronyms mixed up.
Yeah,
So,
we don't have enough of them.
looking forward to doing that with him with him wearing his Fire Chiefs Association hat. But of course, there's no funding for this that we know of, and so we're gonna do it no matter what. So.
Okay. All right, thank you. Ben Kellogg, do you have anything you want to report out?
No, I'll need a conversation with a couple people in regards to how to do this. So, however, I did have a interesting Facebook conversation with Senator McGuire asking about, because he was saying, all the great funding that was coming in Shasta County for new equipment, and I mentioned, hey, how about some love up in Trinity County? And his response was, stay tuned. There's some exciting news coming, but I can't say anything right now. Does anyone know about any exciting news as far as new apparatus coming to Trinity County?
Well, I mean, in the previous budget, Senator McGuire obtained $1 million for Trinity County to buy, for the fire departments to buy extrication equipment and some other stuff. So that $1 million is sitting there. There was some issue as far as who would be the fiscal sponsor handler. Because the Fire Chiefs Association is not a formal, association in terms of being a 501c3 or anything. So last I heard at the Fire Chiefs meeting, Weaverville Fire Department was going to be the essential fiscal sponsor or handler, and then and essentially it's $1 million worth of stuff distributed among the 14 fire departments. So I don't know, maybe that's what he's talking about. Don't know.
I don't think so. He was talking about he was talking about type 3s for Shasta. And I said, what's going on with the new engines, for Trinity County? So I would assume that he wouldn't be pivoting to extrication equipment when I'm talking about apparatus, but maybe he misunderstood. So who knows?
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, if someone can reach out to me regarding the Weaverville board members, RCD had reached out to me previously and I haven't heard back.
Yeah, if it's regarding the Weaverville Firewise community, I'll be sure
Yeah.
someone follows up with you then. Thank you.
That would be awesome. Appreciate it.
Mhm.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody in the room? Pat, you have some?
So from the California Fire Safe Council side of things, I think the last time I told you there were something like 47 bills filed related to wildfire and wildfire preparedness. We're still tracking those. None of them have really gotten a lot of traction. But there's one that has, that we just became aware of. And we're trying to set up a sit down with the legislators' staff. And it's a Senate bill, and I don't remember the number. I can get it to Skylar to pass on to everybody. But it would require fire safe councils to be certified by the state. And it doesn't really say what that means. But anyway, so we don't know if it's real deal or what, but as I learn more, I'll let you know.
Okay. Anybody on the board that we have anything else? Okay, well, seeing none, do we have any future discussion items that we would like to bring up? I know we have one that we were gonna bring up for next meeting.
Yeah, I'll be sure to add the air curtain burner discussion by the weed management area group for the next meeting. And then hopefully something on the subcommittee for fire safe and vegetation management ordinances.
Okay, Kenneth?
Yeah, I had one more thing. I'm sorry, I was trimming my beard. I was talking to my insurance agent, who's State Farm, about the the proposed increase in fees to cover the fair plan, insurance plan, and she was pretty unhappy. State Farm's I think all the insurance agencies are pretty unhappy with the fair plan because they can't cover the people that they have that have that insurance, and yet they're writing new policies. So I think there's a lot of dissatisfaction right now with the fair plan. And also there's a lot of people that are not getting what they thought they were going to get from the fair plan.
Okay, thank you. Maybe we can get, who's that with the insurance?
Jennifer?
Oh, yeah.
No,
Who attended a few meetings back?
no, there was there's a gal that's, I don't think of her name even. She's with, it's like the insurance help. Okay, all right. Well, if nobody else has anything else to add, we will call this meeting adjourned. Thank you all very much for attending today. We will see you on May 22nd. Everybody stay safe.
Thank you.
Yes.